think that art provides you obviously an opportunity to express yourself, really to kind of find your strengths, make yourself proud, but really learning to appreciate the beauty and realizing how much art really is in everyday life. It's a big contrast from all of their academic courses.
I feel very safe. I feel very calm. Art is something I do when I'm upset or nervous, and it helps me feel better.
There's structure, but then they get to choose how they want to employ that structure and use the things that we've learned, and I think that's very empowering and important for them.
I've learned how you can use different materials to make art and to make it the way you want it. My favorite type of art to make is illusion art, where it has the illusion that's it's moving, or it has depth behind it.
Art's important because you can use it in multiple jobs like architectures, engineers.
I hope that they're proud of themselves more than anything, that they've worked hard.